Isa sa mga lugar, mga sangkay na lumulubog na ngayon sa tubig ay ang Jakarta, Indonesia. At ito mga sangkay, sikat na sikat po itong impormasyon na ito pagdating po sa international media. Dahil nga po itong malaking syudad ng Indonesia, matagal na pong nilalamon ng tubig sa dagat. So ngayon mga sangkay, alamin po natin ang ganap sa kanilang lugar. Ano nga ba ang ginagawa ng Indonesia para po mapigilan ito o kung mapipigilan pa talaga. Magandang oras po sa lahat ng ating mga kababayan. This is me, I'm back, Sangkay, Janjan. Huwag niyo pong kalilimutan na i-subscribe yung ating channel. Ayan po sa baba ng video na to, makikita niyo po yung subscribe button. Pindutin niyo lamang po yan, tapos i-click niyo yung bell at i-click niyo po yung all. Sa mga nanonood naman po sa Facebook, huwag kalilimutan i-follow ang ating Facebook page. Ngayon, ito mga Sangkay, tingnan po natin itong balita. No, isa ito sa mga impormasyon na itong Indonesia daw po ay nagbi-build ng isang giant sea wall para daw po mapanatili yung kanilang syudad sa Indonesia. Na ito pong Jakarta. Well, tingnan po natin ang balitang to.
Indonesia's capital, Jakarta, is sinking really fast.
Okay. Ito po yung pinakamabilis ngayon na lumulubog na lugar, okay? Yung Jakarta. At malaki pong bahagi dito mga sangkay o dahilan kung bakit nangyayari ito ay dahil din po sa climate change.
At the rate of around 12 centimeters per year, unless something is done in a couple of years, the city could completely be underwater.
Diba? Yun po yung nangyayari sa Indonesia. So, ilang taon na lang mula ngayon, mga sangkay, talagang ang mangyayari po, iilalim na po sila ng karagatan.
But that doesn't necessarily have to happen. The Indonesian government is currently working to save its dear capital city, having revived plans to build a gigantic seawall around it.
Okay. So, ito po yun, mga sangkay. Tinatawag na seawall ng Indonesia. Na nagbibuild po sila dyan sa Jakarta para lamang po maiwasan itong tuloy-tuloy na paglubog ng napakalaking syudad na na Jakarta sa Indonesia. Para po sa inyong kaalaman, nilipat na po yung kanilang capital city. Okay? Hindi ko alam kung na-aprobado na nalipat na talaga. Pero ang pagkakaalam po natin, hindi na po ang Jakarta ang magiging capital city ng Indonesia.
Known as the Garuda seawall, they've put together a 40-year plan with an initial budget of a whopping 10.5 billion. When completed, the seawall will be unlike anything the world has ever seen. So stick around as we show you how Indonesia, through its seawall, plans to carry out this modern-day miracle. If you're wondering why Jakarta is the fastest sinking megacity in the world,
Ayan, para magkaroon po tayo ng kaalaman, bakit nga ba ito ay mabilis na lumulubog na sa tubig itong Jakarta, Indonesia?
the answer is pretty straightforward. First of all, the city is home to numerous high-rise buildings. In fact, it has the most shopping malls in the world and currently ranks 12th for the number of skyscrapers.
Grabe, no?
These tall buildings carry excessive weights that tend to pressure the soil underneath. Secondly, the water shortages in the region have led to many groundwater extraction activities.
Ito, neturo na po natin to mga sangkay sa mga solid sangkay na nandito na, mga ilang taon na po yung nakalilipas. Way back 2020, na itapik po natin ito mga sangkay. Isa po sa dahilan, marami po mga building na pinatayo ang Jakarta, Indonesia. At pangalawa, yung groundwater po mga sangkay, sinipsip po nila ng sinipsip. Ibig sabihin, doon po nila pinagkuha yung kanilang source ng natural water or fresh water. Kaya naman mga sangkay, dumausdos na po yung lupain ng Jakarta. Kaya nilalamon na po sila ng tubig.
Which isn't doing any good to its landscape. For decades, thousands and possibly millions of very deep holes have been drilled into the city's ground in search of water.
Yun po ang dahilan.
Finally, the city lies on the northwest coast of the mighty Java Sea.
Okay, pag nawalan pala ng tubig yung yung hindi ko alam anong tawag diyan mga sangkay, yung ilalim ng lupa, mayroong pudong nakaimbak na tubig. Pag yun nawala, babagsak daw po talaga yung lupa. Kaya may mga sinkhole, 'di ba? May mga nababalitaan tayong ganun mga sangkay. At ito po sa Indonesia nangyayari.
and reports have it that the water level keeps rising as high as 200 centimeters every year.
Grabe.
You see,
Bilis.
this explains why Jakarta has always been plagued by flooding and tsunamis that destroy lives and properties.
Ayan o, tingnan nyo mga sangkay kung paano na umakyat
Reports
ang
have it that flooding in the coastal city is estimated to cost damages worth $133 million annually and would rise to a staggering $637 million in the coming decades. That is something to worry about, but not even close to what has been predicted to happen to the city. Experts have speculated that about 1/3 of the capital may be totally submerged in water by the year 2050
Grabe, 1/3.
if the issue is left unchecked. The signs are increasingly worrisome, as between the years 1997 and 2005, over 4 meters of land have sunk into the sea in some parts of Jakarta.
Oh my goodness.
Clearly, something has to be done, because if neglected, we wonder what the fate of the more than 10 million residents living in the city will be. So, to solve this huge problem, the Indonesian government came up with several plans. One of those plans was to relocate the country's capital from the island of Java to the island of Borneo.
Yon. So nilipat mga sangkay yung kanilang capital. Ito na yung pinag-uusapan natin kanina.
With the construction of a $34 billion futuristic city named Nusantara. It also banned the extraction of groundwater in the megacity. But perhaps its brightest idea is to build a giant seawall around the entire city. Unfortunately, when the idea came up in 2010, it faced serious opposition from some environmental groups and local politicians, who argued that it would disrupt many livelihoods and damage the marine ecosystem. A coalition of environmental and social groups called Male Dadi Siguro said that instead of solving the problems of land sinking and coastal floods, the seawall project would create more difficulties for the region's residents and the environment. It could narrow and close the fishing catch area, threatening the livelihoods of many who depend on the sea for
Ayun
their
lang
food
mga sangkay, maapektuhan daw po dito yung mga mangingisda.
and income. The seawall will destroy the natural habitats and biodiversity of the coast, which provide ecological services and protection for the people and the environment. He added, "Unfortunately, the situation in Jakarta has grown worse, and now, more than a decade later, the seawall project is being revived." Erlangga Hartarto, Indonesia's coordinating Minister of Economic Affairs, speaking at a seminar about the seawall project, emphasized the need for the seawall. He revealed that parts of Jakarta sink up to 25 centimeters annually because of excessive groundwater extraction and urban development. We need the giant seawall to stop the land from sinking and the sea from flooding, which keeps happening all the time. He went ahead to mention that the project would require 3 phases of construction extending past 2040. With the first 2 stages requiring $10.5 billion in funding. However,
Laking
he
pera.
didn't say how much money would be needed for the 3rd phase. As for the construction blueprints, the Garuda seawall will span a length of 25 miles and measure 80 feet in height. Located on the northern bay of Jakarta, these gigantic walls will be strategically built on the east and west sides of the bay. To make it more attractive for private investors, the surface of this great seawall will be turned into a center of urban development with social amenities like an airport, a harbor, a toll road, a residential area, an industrial area, waste treatment, a water reservoir, and green areas. All these are in a space of about 4,000 hectares. Not only that, it will also have 17 artificial islands that, once finished, will be home to an entirely new part of Jakarta, expected to house 2 million people. A deadline of 2040 has been set for the completion of both ends of the seawall. However, the construction of a 30-kilometer-long river and beach dike on the coast of Jakarta is ongoing. The project, which was flagged off in October 2014, has a deadline set for 2030. It is an extension and strengthening of the already existing dike that was run over by the Great Jakarta Flood of 2007. To complete the entire project in 2050, a freshwater reservoir within the walls of Garuda will be be constructed. The aim is to address the water supply problem in Jakarta, which relies on groundwater extraction.
Okay, so ito po yung nagaganap ngayon sa Indonesia. Isa sa lugar nila mga sangkay, mabilis na pong lumulubog sa tubig o nilalamon na po ng dagat mga sangkay. Isa lamang po ito sa parami ng mga lugar sa ating mundo, no? At dito sa Pilipinas, meron po tayo niyan, yung isa sa mga lugar doon sa Bulacan na ngayon, dati marami pong nakatira doon mga sangkay, pero ngayon punong-puno na po ng tubig. Dahil po sa tumataas na level ng tubig sa karagatan. Meron din po tayo niyan, lumulubog din pong lugar, isang isla mga sangkay, doon sa Bohol, na marami na po ang nag-document noon mga sangkay na dati, hindi namang ganun kataas ang tubig. Ngayon mga sangkay, napupuno na po yung buong maliit na isla na yon. So, eto mga sangkay yung patunay na itong climate change ay talagang nagaganap sa ating planeta ngayon na marami na pong mga lugar sa ating mundo ang apektado. Ang Jakarta mga sangkay, maliban sa climate change, isa sa dahilan din ay yung pagpapatayo ng napakaraming mga mabibigat na building. Ngayon mga sangkay, yung source ng kanilang tubig, pinagkunan din po nila sa ilalim ng lupa ng kanilang malaking syudad. So, nangyari mga sangkay, yung groundwater, bumigay po ang lupa kasi naubos o kinulang na po ng support. So ngayon mga sangkay, ano po ang inyong opinion tungkol po dito mga sangkay sa nangyayari sa ating mundo na maging ang Jakarta ay isa po sa halimbawa ng paglubog o lumulubog na po sa dagat mga sangkay. Dulot po nitong isa sa problema ay climate change. Just comment down below. Meron po akong isang YouTube channel, Sangkay Revelation. Hanapin niyo po ito sa YouTube, then click the subscribe, click the bell, and click all, okay? Ako na po ay magpapaalam, mag-iingat po ang lahat. God bless everyone.